In the next and final module, we will review how to scale the Center of Excellence across the organization. Obviously, to scale the Cloud Center of Excellence, you will need a plan. And this plan will be the responsibility of your team leader or practice manager. This plan will have many elements, but in this video, I'd like to touch on just a few. Developing a knowledge base is crucial, because without one, you won't be able to establish a community of practice. Similarly, the team should have established code and configuration repositories as a best practice. Also, develop performance support tools primarily around automation. And in a few minutes, I'll show you how to build a federated team without massively increasing the size of the cloud team. You can scale without increasing the team. A plan to scale across the organization will have a few success factors. As I just mentioned, knowledge management is crucial. So is automation, primarily for integration and testing. This should be based on best practices in site reliability engineering and continuous integration and delivery. CI/CD should be your main methodology, and avoid the bureaucratic black holes of Scrums and the scalable Agile framework for the enterprise. Scaling can be accomplished by federating DevSecOps within each business application development team, and use value stream analysis to expose and avoid interdepartmental process bottlenecks. The team should have a hypertext knowledge base, which it manages itself. In my experience, document management systems just can't do the job. You need a semantic wiki engine with taxonomy and metadata. It should support automatic linking and backlinking. It should also have strong keyword, metadata, and full-text search across information silos. You can use this knowledge base to store and manage best practices, case studies, resources of any kind, performance support checklists, procedures, standards, minutes of meetings, and so forth. Your DevOps teams will be using code repositories like GitHub for version control, but in addition, you should have a central repository for configuration management and tested third-party code libraries. You will need this configuration management if you're using an ITIL change advisory board. You should not pull libraries from the wild over the internet. Libraries should be verified and maintained in a corporate repository. They should also be encapsulated in the application, but that is another story. This repository should also be used for code patterns, templates, and build and test scripts. Keep all automation scripts in this repository. There are other support tools that you will need to plan for in scaling the Center of Excellence. We've already mentioned a catalog of approved cloud services, code templates, and design patterns. In addition, you should be developing reference architectures and API frameworks. The Center of Excellence should standardize these across all development teams. Most important is the development of automated code pipelines for the provisioning and integration of applications using these reference architectures. Developing automated code pipelines is the job of the technical engineer in the core team. The foundation of a code pipeline used in continuous integration and delivery is an automated test server based on the test pyramid. Remember, we recommended CI/CD as a development methodology. For a long time, a standard practice in code development was to completely build an application, then throw it over the wall to the test department, where testers would run regression tests and performance tests. There would be no security testing at this time. In the best case, developers would run functional tests on their code before creating builds for the testers. Testers would identify defects and record these in a bug tracker for developers to fix later in the development cycle. CI/CD uses test-driven development. The test pyramid uses a layered approach instead of regression testing, which might miss some use cases as the application evolves. Code has to pass tests in each layer before it can move up the pyramid to the next step. Automation allows this to happen very quickly. Developing code pipelines for development teams is essential to scale the Center of Excellence. A code pipeline is built using tools like Ansible, Puppet, and Terraform. The pipeline runs build scripts and passes the code to the test server where unit and integration tests are run. Standard security checks can also be applied. Successful code can be passed to another server for performance testing. In practice, the developer checks in code under version control, and this triggers the right test process in the pipeline. The developer gets feedback in real time about the outcome of the test. If code successfully passes a test, a trigger moves it to the next step in the process, and so on. Finally, we come to how you can scale the Center of Excellence without a large increase in the size of the core team. The approach shown here supports a centralized Center of Excellence, but also uses decentralized development teams and business units. This reflects the reality in most large organizations. In DevSecOps engineering, the technical engineer is overseeing the development of standard pipelines for use across the organization. The trainer on the core team, along with regular lunch and learns, play an essential role in liaising with development teams. Through this federated model, a core team can support a large number of development teams in compliance with the organization's cloud strategy while enforcing best practices, being secure, and maintaining standards. This is the end of the module on scaling the Cloud Center of Excellence. In summary, develop knowledge management for communities of practice. Implement repositories for third-party libraries, templates, and scripts. Develop tools like reference architectures and API frameworks, and implement these in layered test pyramids for quality code. Build automated code pipelines based on reference architectures to manage time to launch, and use a federated model for scaling so you don't have to have a large core team. This is the end of the series on establishing a Cloud Center of Excellence. I hope it's been of somewhat use to you. If you have any questions, you're welcome to email me at the below address.